All right, let's talk through the OSs. We'll try and do this, in the next 13 minutes or so that we have about a half hour to talk about iPads for the main
Yeah.
topic. But let's talk through all the OSs, all of the good ones dropped yesterday. Everything Apple's releasing this year, the dot two version.
Yeah.
So Jason's going to walk us through iPhone or iOS and iPad OS, and then I'll cover the Watch and Mac OS. So Jason, they're out. People can go in and update like they normally do. Why would they want to update? What's available now?
Right. So remember when iOS 17 dropped, a lot of features were missing that we were excited about at WWDC. And I think because it was just so jam packed with features in just that little short time between the announcement and actual release, they just couldn't get it all in. So there's a few things on this list that I saw. Some I didn't realize were missing because I didn't take advantage of it. But yeah, let's just jump down this list real quick. So the main one was the Journal app, right? And you were excited about this one. We talked about how you wanted it to work versus how Apple was going to, implement it originally. We know they're going to add on to it eventually, but this was one that you were excited about. Have you got a chance to play around with it any?
I did. I used it. I did a couple of things with it yesterday. So I do a gratitude journal entry every day.
Right.
So I did my gratitude entry in it, and then I took one of their prompts, and it was about music. And so I kind of just put in a couple of sentences about how music makes me feel. So they've got
Right.
a lot of prompts that are based on music you listen to, photos. I didn't go anywhere yesterday, so it didn't like tell
Hmm.
me, "Hey, how was your trip to the grocery store?" But my understanding is it's going to do some of that kind of stuff. So it's got a whole bunch of prompts. I'll see how those go. It's super simple. You hit the plus button, you type in what you want, and you hit done, and it puts an entry. And then, like when I did the gratitude entry and the reflection entry, were
Hmm.
separate. So that's great. I think it might be super straightforward and easy for me to do the gratitude stuff. We'll
Yeah.
see if I leave that in there, mostly because I do other things every day in notes. Like I have a daily entry of my study and
Hmm.
thoughts that I have, and then I do my gratitude entry at the end of that. So we'll see if it stays in there. If the prompts start getting really good, if like it says, "Hey, Dustin was here for the last week. How was it having him
Right.
back home?" Right, and it prompts me to write on that kind of stuff. It would be really cool because it's supposed to know that I'm in proximity to him, especially where he's in my family group.
Right, right. So let me ask you this. I know, so basically you're starting from day one after the update. Is there a way for you to go in and put in the last several months of, is there like an import feature, or do you have to manually go in and because you have to put dates and stuff on everything. So can you go in and add so you can set, get those trends or things like that?
I didn't see an import feature. I'll have to look for that. I did notice that when you go in, it automatically puts it on today's date, but it does
Yes.
allow you to put in a custom date. So in theory, I could go
Okay.
move a whole bunch of stuff over to it if I want to. I've got it all in notes
Right.
because that's what I've been using for the last 2 or 3 years for journal entries. I
Hmm.
moved from OneNote into Notes. So, but yeah, I'll see. I'll report back because this is something I'm excited about. Now, the bummer here is it's only on the iPhone. It's not
Okay.
on the
No
iPad,
iPad.
and it's not on the Mac. And man, it would be great if it was on both of those places.
Right.
So, we'll see if it convinces me to move over from what I'm doing in Notes today.
Right, right. So, just like everything, just like my rant on one of the early episodes, iPhone is always first, and everything else is kind of a stretched out or a blown out version of the iPhone app. So, hey, what are we gonna do, right? All right, next. So they have some music features that they talked about during WWDC that didn't make the cut or whatever, and that's your favorites on a playlist.
Yeah,
This is
any
something you
any
would
song
use.
that you favorite now, which is something they released in 17.1.
Hmm.
So any song that you favorite automatically gets added to that new playlist. So I'm gonna play around with
Right.
this and we'll see how that goes.
All right. So talking about music, this was a couple of features that got left off of the original update. So favorited playlists. Now, I joke because this is something that I've always done on Pandora, and I know you're always surprised that I still listen to Pandora. I'm surprised myself. I should get off of that. But so every song that you favorited is now on a playlist, so you can listen to those songs separately outside of your normal playlist and stuff. And is this a feature that you've been looking forward to?
Yeah, because I actually create. I mean, it'll only be one. So I actually have like a church music favorites. I have a Christmas
Hmm.
music favorites. I have a regular music favorites playlist. So I would love to mix all of that stuff together without having to create all of
Right,
these playlists. And it's just a tap, right?
right.
Excuse me. So you just tap and it automatically gets added to this list. I haven't played with it yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah. So another thing too, and looking at this, this is something that frustrates me about Pandora because it doesn't have this feature. So if you're in certain focus modes on the phone, it doesn't capture those listening stats, right? So I see here you have an example, like if you listen to white noise or play white noise in the background, it doesn't show up in those lists. So while you're in the garage or in the shop or you're in your trailer working, you're not jumping from one song to white noise right in the middle of the day, and and I realized that I love this because I'm so hesitant to favorite Christmas music because I remember I spent months. I love Christmas music. Again, I told you earlier I listened to it from Thanksgiving to January, and I hate in the summertime having to thumbs down these songs because they show up on that favorite playlist. So if I can have a Christmas mode to where it doesn't save all of the Christmas songs, and that way in February I'm not jamming through Christmas music. Yeah, this is a good feature. I like that.
Well, and
Smart
if you,
idea too for music lovers, you know.
yeah, if you use like Apple's replay where it tells you the top songs you did for the whole year and all that kind of stuff, in
Yeah,
theory, I think you'll be able to exclude it from that. So, like,
yeah,
if I go listen to my replays for the last 3 or 4 years, it's like third church music, a third, retro music that I used to
right,
listen to as a kid, and a third Christmas music.
right, right.
So,
Which you don't want in March, you know what I mean, in the summertime. So I'm with you on that. I like that. So next one is spatial video. So we talked about the Vision Pro and how you'll be able to it's a headset, a virtual headset, and you'll be in the environment. So now they actually on the 15 Pro and Pro Max, you'll be able to record video, even though we don't have that device yet. You'll be able to record video for that. So 1080p, 30 frames per second. I don't think it's going to look great, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure it'll be 60 frames at 4K at some point.
yeah, I
Right,
mean, file size is a problem here, though. I mean, a 10
right,
minute video is going to be over a gig.
right,
And
right.
so if you went up to 4K 60, what are you
Yeah,
talking like 4 or 5x that? So, yeah, I
that's going
mean,
to be huge.
but this will be playable. Start recording it now if you've got the 15 Pro or the Pro Max and you want to be able to watch your kids' birthday parties in 3D. Start
Yeah.
recording them now. So,
So messages, there's a few changes. So emojis and stickers were tap back, which is uh, I remember looking for this, thinking that this was part of that original one. And yeah, we spent a few minutes realizing that hey, it's just not there. So looking forward to that. The catch up arrow was another thing too that I look for. We were excited to start using. So you'll be able to tap that and jump to the latest messages. And these features are again, green bubbles mess these up because you don't get to see this, but if you're in a group chat like me with in my main family chat, I think there's 9 of us, the conversation will go, if you're not paying attention, by the time you grab the phone 30 minutes later, you're already,
yeah.
you know, miles and miles and miles down the chat. So,
This will be
this catch
good
up
for
arrow would help.
this will be good for Jason because he's in working in the shop and I sent him like 10 3 paragraph messages in a row and then he
Right.
can just hit this button and go clear back to the top and then he'll just be able to reply. I just did it off my
Right.
Mac and sent you one, but I just replied and it has add sticker. So I just added a sticker and I did my memoji thumbs up. I actually like using my memojis. I don't know if anybody
Right.
else does, but I like using them. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is cool. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. I think what did they call those quality of life improvements to iMessage? I think was a welcome change. Translate on the action button. So this is iPhone 15 and 15 Pro Max. Um, I think this is going to be really useful. I use the Translate app a lot. I don't have an action button on my 14, but I think people are going to get some use out of this. I think that was a smart move. Just the sheer number of people that uses Translate. So,
Yeah, I mean, this
uh,
is just to be able to press and hold that button and all of a sudden
right,
have the translate up and have these conversations. You
right.
know, we're not there, and I don't know when it'll be an implant, but we're getting closer and closer to the Star Trek universal
Yeah, the
translator, right?
universal translator. Yep, yep. I'll be getting mine. So widgets for the clock and the weather app. Maybe not so much the clock, but the weather app. I am, which is the reason why I tell you I want to use my Snoopy face, my watch face so much. But I like the modular one because it has the weather and the precipitation. And oh, over these last few weeks, I've needed it a lot. I've depended on it a lot, and yeah, I'm looking forward to using the widget too on the phone.
Well, I've got some
So
good
I don't
news
know.
for you on the watch when we get there. So
Okay.
I'll save that.
So I built up muscle memory of just, hey, it's looking like it's gonna rain. I need to check my watch, but I'm gonna try it on the phone too. I'm looking forward to that. So improved focus and speeds with telephoto. I didn't know that that was an issue. I hadn't read anything about that, or so maybe not a big deal. AirPlay for Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Um,
Here's the thing on this one. Not so much that I've got a Vision Pro or I'm going to have one anytime soon because I'm afraid it's going to
mhm,
be a while. But I don't think Apple's kidding around on this one. This is not one of those product launches that they said early next year that's going to be June 30th, just so they could say it was the first half of the year.
mhm,
They've got things in this release, and there will be a dot .3 release in the
yes,
next 2 or 3 months, but they elected to put these things in this release, which means somebody's going to have this hardware in
right.
the very near future.
Right, right. So, and we know the developers that they're partnering with, your Disney people at Disney, probably some folks at Netflix, some of these game studios and things like that. They're already, yeah, yeah, they're getting them ready. So, all media from Apple now is in the TV app.
No iTunes.
So, so it's done.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no iTunes now. Everything's your store, all of that kind of stuff is now through the Apple TV app instead of having that separate iTunes app that they used to have before.
Okay. Okay. That one was always pushed back so far in one of the folders
Yeah,
anyway for me.
I don't
So I
remember
guess it made sense. Yeah.
last time I did it, other than on the TV. Like if I, but we've been renting stuff lately, and I just go into the Apple TV app and look for it, and it says the big rent button, and you press it, and it
Yeah.
starts playing.
Okay. So Qi 2 charging for the 13 and 14. I thought that this was already there. I seem to remember hearing about that coming, and I was just like, that'll be a good improvement. But so we just got this.
Yeah, I mean they've had Qi charging, but Qi 2 is
No,
different.
Qi 2.
Qi
Yeah.
2 is the magnet version, almost like
Right, right,
MagSafe,
right.
right? So yeah, no, apparently you and the 13 get that with this release.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was on there. Thankfully I have my MagSafe, but I thought that I was able to use that already, so we're good. Wi-Fi and connectivity improvements; those are always good to more stability is always good. Rainbow text options with contact posters. Mm, probably won't use it.
You're the
I think most
contact
of the
poster guy, so
yeah, I because you got a pretty good range of colors already,
yeah.
right?
I usually let it
Rainbow texting.
match. I usually let it match the text automatically because they seem to do a pretty good job of what goes well
Right,
with whatever photo you picked.
right, right. Um, let's see. Login the lease app data.
Sorry, I
So
typed
there's
this
some
one in
Siri
wrong, guys.
support.
I put this together and then told Jason he had to go through it. So Siri support for
No, that's
accessing
fine.
and logging health app data. So
Okay.
health
Health app.
data has always been so secure that you couldn't get to it through
Right.
Siri.
Okay, so now Siri will be able to access some of that stuff. All right, good move. I do. I like that. I like that. Wireless charging and vehicle fixes. What kind of fixes did? Because
I
I
don't know
haven't had
what.
any problem, but then I have a MagSafe charger in the car
Yeah,
too, so
no,
I'm guessing it's probably
these are the Qi chargers. I think BMW was the one that was having the most problems. They said it was bricking
okay.
phones.
Really? Wow. Hmm,
That's never good.
yeah. 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 Never good. Okay, so and that's another issue that just kind of passed me by because again, we both use MagSafe in the car.
Yeah,
So, which we recommend to everyone.
mag
Buy a
all the
mount, an
safes.
external mount. Yeah, yep, and just get an Apple MagSafe and just use that in the car. It'll be more secure, anyways.
Yep.
Okay, so something that we didn't get. is the collaborative playlist. Now, this was something too that I said I would get some use out of. I'm curious to test out, and we just didn't get it in the original version, didn't get it after that, and we didn't get it in 17.2. So,
Yep.
is this
Rumor has
coming?
it it's security and abuse
Hmm.
and spam and that kind of stuff. So,
Right,
which would
right,
make
right,
sense. I mean, you got to let me say who can add to my playlists. You can't
right.
just say anybody can.
Right, because then it'll always be some music studio, something with some new artist coming out, just abusing it, just sending that music out everywhere and putting it on
Yep.
everyone's devices and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
okay, I get it, I get it. So, I think the idea probably started off like, hey, let's just let people share playlists, and then they said, no, we gotta lock this thing down. We
Yep.
have to
I
Apple
hope
this
so.
thing and make it more user friendly. So that was it for iOS. I'm pretty sure this wasn't a full extensive list, but I know some things. There's probably some back end fixes and bug fixes and changes and stuff like that. So as usual, we'll keep you updated when something new comes along. So iPad OS 17.2, and I'm not gonna go on a rant. I'm gonna let you get through it, but always seems like iPad is an afterthought. It's so frustrating. Always phone first, and
Yeah.
now iPad next, and then Mac OS third. It's getting a little
Yeah.
frustrating,
If
but
you could
what do
see
we got?
if you could see the size of our list, um,
Yeah.
there's 3 lines.
Oh, I'm doing iPad.
You
I'm
do
sorry.
iPad, but yeah, there's only 3 lines on iPad, and this is real easy because it's nothing unique, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah. Just like the update in general, right? I
Yeah.
like the cosmetic features, the widgets and things like that, but man, I was iPad OS 17 didn't really have any big changes, which may be good news. We'll talk about this later in the show.
Yeah.
Maybe they held some things for next year, so we'll get to that. So number one, no journal app. Greg
Yep.
mentioned earlier he's going to use the journal app. He's going to take advantage of some of these features and stuff, but he won't be doing that from his mini or his next iPad Pro if things stay the way they are. So no journaling app on the iPad. Uh, there's some messages and music updates, but the same ones for iOS,
Yep.
right? iPhone first, play it over to the iPad. They're like, hey, let's just throw it on the iPad for those three three or four people
Yeah.
that uses an iPad. So the TV app revamp is going to be more like the app on the Apple TV. Now this is cool, right? Because
Yeah.
it's kind of like your mini TV screen anyway. Most people use an Apple TV and the iPad. So, I mean, I think that's a welcome change, but still not a big deal. And that's it. That's all we got on the iPad. Yeah, yeah. So pretty frustrating. And again, I'm hoping this is actually a good thing, not a bad thing. But I'll give you my thoughts on that later. So,
Yeah.
but let's talk about the watch.
Yeah, so not a lot for the watch, but key things, which would be fine if they would do the same thing for iPadOS, right? They could do
Hmm.
2 things, and if they were important things, that would be enough. So,
Right.
yes, you can log your health data with Siri on the Apple Watch now. You can always view what's playing, the now playing stuff when you get close to a HomePod if it's playing on your watch, which I may
Hmm.
actually use. I gotta see how that works. You can prioritize the music or the trainer voice in Apple Fitness Plus workouts. I think that's important because if you're on a series where you're doing that same workout 3 times a week, just going up in
Hmm.
weight or something like that, you get to the point where you don't need to hear the trainer's
Right.
voice. You don't need them telling you, you know, what to do. You can see how much time's left. You can see how you're doing. You know the routine. So you want to listen to the music. So I think that's actually subtle, but a big change with their Fitness Plus stuff. And that'll go well, I think,
Hmm.
because now you can build custom workout programs in Fitness Plus. So you can lay out your own program too.
Okay.
So, but the two big things, I can now swipe to change my watch faces. So, Jason,
Yep. It's back.
you need to go put the modular watch face right next to the Snoopy watch face.
Right.
When you need to see the weather, it's just a simple left to right swipe.
Right. Right. This was something that was missing from the original update, and we
And
were like,
why?
"Why
Because
did they change that?"
they didn't replace the gesture. They didn't do anything with that gesture. It just went away.
Yeah, yeah. So it's good to see that back. That was a welcome change, and I bet they got a lot of backlash too about
Yeah,
that, which is because they usually don't re-add features that they take away, right? Unless
right.
enough people complain about it. So
So I'm
thanks to
sticking.
everyone that helped us complain.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sticking with
Yeah.
Snoopy. And if I want to see all of the stuff on that new ultra modular face, right, that has a gazillion complications with the weather one being the biggest one, I just
Right.
swipe and I don't have to swipe up and see the little widget and all that kind of stuff. So I'm good. I'm good with this. Now you do have to enable it. So it's not on by default. So you need to go
Right.
on the watch, go into settings and clock because that makes sense. You wouldn't go into the watch face stuff, right? You would go into
Right.
the clock and turn it on. So
Right.
just hit the toggle, turn it on. I'm loving it. So, and then related to that, I already saw a Snoopy watch face that is
The
for
new
the
one.
holidays.
Okay.
Yep. I don't know when they dropped it, but it showed up today and he's hanging a wreath on the center of the clock.
I'm wondering how they get in all of these. I mean, it can't be with the update. Maybe they're already there.
And they're programmed or they are doing the
Yeah.
updates because it's close. I mean, Thanksgiving ones only showed up on Thanksgiving. I have not seen the
Right.
turkey ones since Thanksgiving Day.
Right. I wonder how they're adding these watch faces. Still really cool, right? Even if it's just a quick little update while you're charging, they're just adding,
So
3 or 4
cool.
extra ones or something. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this and excited about the future of you know what I mean. Maybe we can get some better Mickey Mouse and Toy Story ones that aren't just
Yeah.
them running back and forth and all of that. They were good, cool watch faces, but never really got any use out of them. But this Snoopy one, I'm really enjoying the dynamic watch faces and stuff. That is really cool.
All right, let me wrap up macOS 14.2. Big
Hmm.
security updates. There were more than double the number of Mac security updates versus the others. So, if for nothing else, you need to upgrade because of those security updates. No journal app, more
Hmm.
enhanced PDF fill-in features. We got the message updates, and we got the weather updates. How many people need all of that weather info on their Mac? I guess if you're using the widget, I don't know. Anyway, so that's
Yeah,
Mac
maybe
OS.
just a widget.
I've got everything updated. It didn't take very long to get it all done. Um, so update, call it good, and
Yeah,
let us know what you think about some of these new features.
yeah, yeah.